Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Madden God. I'm Max, your host, and I'm here today, as always, with the wonderful, amazing, one and only and forever Roxanne. Hi, Roxy.
Hello, Max.
And today we have a guest that is joining us. Hi, James. Welcome. Thank you for being here. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Great. Thank you.
Fantastic.
So we're very happy that you could join us and share this moment with you.
Yeah, me too.
And get into it and have fun and have a discussion about everything what we're going to explore today. So I think why don't we take just as a start what you were just asking just before coming in. You had a question. Let's start with that question. Interesting to explore. I think that's a very interesting topic, right? So what was your question?
I actually don't remember.
You don't remember.
It's brand new now. I don't remember.
You're
Right.
wondering about
Something along the lines of influence and since I'm
Yes.
creating my reality in every given now, where do the other people or where does co-creation fall into that category? So if I'm
Bingo.
creating every one of my nows sequentially, do I have influence over another?
no, because the other one isn't there.
Right. No one's
You
there.
can't influence another person because they're not there. You create a reflection that matches your vibration in the form of a person. That's the spookiest thing you got to understand.
It is a little spooky, yeah.
It is. Because first off, we're not people, we're conscious.
Yeah.
We're awareness. All of this material around that says we're a person is consciousness forming a reality of reflection.
Right.
Without my eyes, I don't know what I look like,
Right.
but I know what I feel like,
Mhm.
right? So I know my presence is that, and everything else is decoration for the experience.
Right.
Whether it's in a physical or a non-physical reality, the awareness remains. So the original creator, the one, the only you that started created reality before you came to separation, always lived in its own bubble and always had a bubble around it that would match its frequency of forever change, expansion, exploration of the possibilities of creation. Planets, suns, moons, grasses, trees, everything is created. Everything is creation. So in the idea of the separated mind, we have a very, very nasty appetite called control. And that control is because we are afraid. I don't need to control anything because I'm not afraid of anything. What do I need to control? I have no lack. I have no desire. I have no need. I have no want. What the hell do I need, want, or need to control, or want to control, or have to have? That's a vibration. So that vibration is screaming, I'm not enough. So I create all of these reinforcements. Remember, reality is my best fucking friend. It doesn't care about me. It gives me what I am. So it goes, oh, you're afraid, you're lackful. Here's a whole bunch of scenarios that reinforce that. Have fun. So you create the versions of people that are just total fucking shitheads in your life because you're vibrating that. You want to explore that. You can't think it in the mannerisms of good and bad, or you need a bus to get back to fucked. You can't think about what is that person doing or saying. You don't. You are interpreting everything, experiencing. You bring it back home, right? So I had versions of my mother that started off as that because I didn't know anything. And that was my mom. And that was my dad. And I didn't like them, but I hoped and I needed and I wanted them to like me. So I'm always changing me to fit them, but they never changed because they were getting exactly what they wanted. A point of view that fought them for the betterment and the convincing. That's how they kept their life. So they were vibrating a truth, and I was giving them that because I was giving them the same thing that they're vibrating. Are you following me?
Yeah.
James?
Yeah.
James, stick with me. Yes or no?
Yes.
Honest?
Yes, I'm following as best as I can.
Okay. So the vibration of my mother is a truth.
Mhm.
I only knew what that was as a truth. That's what I coveted. But I didn't covet my mother's truth. I coveted my truth. I'm separated. I'm afraid. I'm vibrationally lack. My mom is separated. She's afraid. She's vibrationally lack. My dad's an asshole. He cheats and with his kids and lies and puts them down. That's not his fault. That's his vibration. So I give him reasons to keep saying that because that's all I know. Are you following me?
Yeah.
So we're all creating realities like that. Then you wake up and you go, oh, wait a minute. I don't have to be the same person with that person. I can change me. So if I change, then I start getting different versions of those people. I'm not manipulating them. Why? Because they're not fucking there. I'm creating versions of vibrations that reinforce what I am. You'll never get the same version of your aunt ever again. As long as you keep being true to yourself, you'll watch. If that version doesn't fit in your world, then you will never interact with her again. Ever. You get it?
Mm-hmm.
Yes or no?
Yeah, yes.
Okay. So your mind is trying to figure out, you're thinking, trying to figure out how those people, what specific people you want to get. You can't do that. That's externalism. That's distraction. You got to be true to yourself. What did Sly tell you? Sly told you, be fucking true to yourself. No matter what. Don't give in. Don't negotiate. Speak your truth every time. And then all these people start to change. You're not changing the people. You're changing versions. There's a million versions of me. But you know what? I don't create that. They do. Everyone else creates their own version of me. I have no say in it. I create the version of me. And my consciousness surrounded comes to me and matches that vibration. Better?
It makes me think of my experience the other week in the car with someone that was angry and shouting with the road we're driving becoming worse and worse and worse as I was getting more and more attacked and scared and panic at the beginning of what was happening in the car. And the street was getting worse and worse. Was the street like that? No. But I was having a experience, and that was, I was matching that road in that moment. So I had exactly the road that was mirroring my experience.
What he's saying is he got an argument with someone in a car. It got very vibrationally angry. Then his environment around him started matching that, where a perfectly smooth road turned into a shitty road and it got more lost and more crappy. Until he changed his relationship, then they would have continued that way.
Then the road changed.
So as long as you're putting out what they need and what you want about the outside, you're fucked. Big tickets to fuckland. It's not about the outside, James. It's always about the inside. How you be your vibrational truth each and every moment, then you will witness to the versions of the people that you create. See, I know it sounds horrible. It does, because those people aren't really there. They're not. They're not there. They're a conscious reflection of your bubble because there's only one God using all creation to experience self. So every single singularity is its own bubble, and all of this co-creation is called the all. We can't see anything unless you have a wall, a shirt, a body. What is that? What are all those things? What is your hair? What are your glasses? What are your fingernails? What is the computer? What is that? Answer that question. Let me see if I can get you there this way.
Consciousness.
Huh?
Creation.
Yeah, it's God's.
Mm.
You get that?
Mm.
All the molecules, all the fibers, they're all creation. They're all singularity gods experiencing all those points of consciousness.
Mm.
And they're all wrapping around for James, because James is the only God that creates. I'm just speaking to you, giving you what you want to understand. So you're creating this version of me that gives you this insight, the version of Max, the version of everything is because of your vibration. So your vibration doesn't sit in that puny little mind of yours that's running around with emotions trying to figure out reality and control it, because you've already had that life, 40 some odd years of that life. You want that life? Well, then don't fuck around with waking up. Go back to sleep and have a good time with your own train wreck, because you already know what that life is. That life will never change. You'll get the same versions of people, the same versions of reality, the same predicaments. You might interpret the decorations different, but you'll feel the exact same way. Or you wake up and you start being your truth, and then you'll start notice different versions of people. Wow, that person reacted. They would have never reacted like that before. Well, that person isn't there. They're a conscious reflection. Consciousness forming a person with the truth that's emanating. They're there in the idea of expressing the truth, but they're not there as a person outside of the reality. They're inside your world as a formation of reflection. Difficult, isn't it?
Mm.
Because the
It is,
singularity mind,
right?
the separated mind, sees externalism. It sees outside of itself. So the only thing you know is mom is there, dad is there. You're not like, oh, so can you see yourself? This is on a holodeck and you program me and Max?
Yes.
Okay, so we're AI. Let's say me and Max are AI. Your aunt is AI. All of your friends are AI. The people that fucked you over were AI. You programmed everyone in every fucking word and everything they are. You programmed that. But your puny little fucking mind, your little ego bitch self that loves its emotion, that loves its addiction, is what's been running the show. But it actually hasn't been running the show. It's been reacting into it. What's been running the show is your separation from birth vibration of lack. Why do you think we talk about so much about worthiness, about choosing your own truth? That's what changes vibration. Then you start getting different versions. So your holodeck has been running on the program of this is all I am, and you get those versions a million different ways. So when you start changing the programming, then the holodeck follows. Maybe that's a better way to say it.
Yeah.
That you're on a holodeck. Because you are. You're in your own little manifested bubble. Now, emotionally, you're feeling what?
Right now, I don't have any emotions.
Okay. How about right now?
No. Just observing.
Good. What are you feeling, though? Frustration, anger, hope, need, anything?
No, nothing.
Okay. Good. Good. So you want to take this experience today and observe what's being reflected, and don't use your emotions to interpret. Totally accept this ideas and let them ponder. You can't use your thinking mind to figure this out. You have to use your intuitive self and allow the knowledge to flow in. Look how many epiphanies you've gotten already. Trying to run ahead and figure it out isn't going to work. Allow the epiphanies to continue. So it's a great question. How do I create versions of people? not with intention, not with control, not with manipulation. See, those people that manipulate other people aren't on your world. Those people use guilt and use, what do you call them? They're narcissistic husbands and wives towards their spouses. They manipulate other people, but they're actually not. Everyone is choosing their own truth on their own reality, creating their own experience. Everyone is getting that. The horrific things that happen to people, it's the journey of separation. It's not their fault. It's no one's fault. It's a journey. Maybe that offers a little clarity.
Yeah, and it makes me right, and to what you were saying, that you cannot program it, you cannot make it happen or run after it. It happens when it's the match. My experience the other week, at the end of it, I had an epiphany. I had a moment of worthiness, of expressing my worth and discovering my worth, so that my experience, all the experience that I had that day, led me directly to that expression of my worth. And I can say, I perceive, I feel, and I see the change that I had, that I'm expressing since then. I'm feeling different because I'm different, but also because I know that in that day, in that moment, I perceived my worth in a different way, in a way that I hadn't perceived it up until that moment. And once you get that, well, it never leaves you. You have it. It's there. You get it. But again, if I had programmed it, I wouldn't have been able. It cannot happen because you want it. It happens because that's the moment. It
happens because you are it. That's why we talk so much about worthiness. You have to choose your vibrational truth every moment, and that's what tells creation you're more worthy than you've ever been.
Yeah.
You got to stop thinking and start feeling and trusting that. The versions of my mother that I have now were never like the versions. She wouldn't dare talk about the idea of drama and stuff with me because that's not on my world. I can't create that version of my mother anymore because that's not my vibrational match. That's the spooky part. But you're not controlling people. You have nothing to do with anyone else's life. You're creating your reality on where you put your truth, your energy, your will of the now. Listen to the classes on Wednesday nights. The vibrational will of the now. What you're putting in there is what you're creating. The target is worthiness. The validity of the reality is going to give back your worthiness. You have to trust it. That control is a son of a bitch. You want everything to be perfect. You want everything to be perfect. You're tired of this and tired of that. You want it all to be perfect. So your mind says control. We've all learned control. Do this, do that, make sure, do the right steps. We don't have to do any of those. All we have to do is speak our truth every single fucking moment. No matter how minuscule the things we're doing, they have no purpose and no outcome and no meaning. And it's all just, I'm goddamn awesome, no matter what I'm doing. Then the entire reality starts to shift and your bubble literally reprograms it, reinforcing that vibration as you go through every day.
Yeah.
Better?
Yeah.
Good. Go ahead, Max.
Yeah, and I've noticed a thing is that once you start getting your worth and get inside, right? Understanding the inside, understanding that all of this is, well, it's you. And you're, well,
you, but not in blame. Remember,
no.
But just make sure you add that in there because the mind goes to, oh, it's me, well, then it's my fault. Because
no,
our
that's
entire
not what it is.
society tells people it's your fault. You're responsible for your own pain. Yes, I am. But I don't create it intentionally. I create it because that's all I know.
Yes.
Okay. All right, keep going.
But what I meant is that then when you get that extra step of oh, this is me, then you also understand that you're not gonna fuck yourself up. You're not doing that against you. You're not here to for messing it up in the sense, right? In the sense that we give to that. No, not in the sense that, of course we're fucking it up, right? Of course we're experiencing, and part of the experience is that, right, human stuff that we do. But this is next to that. It's when you get to the next, when you get, I'm the creator, I'm creating this, then the next is that you take ownership of it, but you take ownership in a different way. It's not ownership, oh, now I will, okay, now I can just do whatever, and whatever happens. No, it's that I've seen how by surrendering and allowing and cleaning up what I can clean up, then my reality, with no extra effort, without me putting any will in it, my reality changes and matches what I'm preferring. But my preferring is more of me getting clear in my being of what I'm preferring, and it is not in the will. The will, let go of the will, right? The human will, let go of that. It's not working. Not in this in the will. Oh, now I'm doing this, so I obtain that. And it's today I've seen that. I was here and I said, well, yeah, now I get it, that I do not need to be afraid of certain things that are happening, because I don't need to. And all of my these past months where I was concerned with, I'm afraid that I'm gonna have to take a job, or right, going back into, today I said, well, I've chosen differently. But when I say that today, I'm not saying I choose differently against that. I'm saying I choose differently because I choose this, not against something else. No, it's a choice. And I made my choice. And I could see, this is my choice. This is my preferred choice. And I can go with that. Why? Because I'm going to listening to me. Why am I going to listening to me? Because I know me. I'm doing me. And this is my vibration. And I allow myself to have this vibration as free as I can, not interfering with the human will, intention. That this doesn't come from intention. This comes from being. The being I am, right? But again, you do not intend it. Why? Because there's no need to intend it. Because you are being it. And this is something we have been talking about, right? The difference between trying, between intending, between having all of those human things, right? That we have learned, that we are so full of. We are getting out of that and then getting into being, and it's different. You don't talk about it. You do not need to. Whatever, it happens, and that is the difference. Is that it happens. It's creation happening, doing the flow of the now. It's now. It's happening. But why it's happening? Because it's happening. Because this is the match. This is the what I'm aligning with, what I'm expressing. Because this is the best I can do right now. If I want, I can try, I can put the will, I can try to, right? That lack, putting the lack, using the lack, all of that. Absolutely, that right. It works as well, but in a different way. It's different. It's another way of functioning into the external. The being is internal. And I felt, for me, that at least as I felt it today, I felt, well, it's a choice to go inside, to reflect it and take it full and completely ownership of it and go inside of me. And I felt that's my choice right now to express myself in this way.
I think what I did was, and then one day I was standing in my kitchen, and then it realized I was looking out the back window, out of the kitchen window, and I was looking at the street below and the people and the lives and everything that was going on, the traffic and all that shit. And I realized that's all just a manifestation from my experience. Everything is a real entity. They're not fake, but they're not there as the idea of outside of you. They are a reflection of your vibration. That's how it works. So what spawned the question? James, let's start over, because we're not done with this. See, this is an attracted moment. You're creating this moment. Your vibration is creating this moment. You're interested in something, so you're attracting this idea. So let's play my world. My world, I say, I want to know in that idea what spurred that question for James. Now, James is a reality that I'm creating as an experience. But I'm not pulling your strings, am I? I'm not telling you what to say. I'm not putting a gun to your head saying do this or do that. Of course not. Because you're in your own world. That's where it gets fucked up for the human mind. That's why you have to stop thinking and start feeling and trusting and allowing. But anyways, what spurred the question?
I don't remember.
Okay, so what was the idea behind it? Let's go to the vibration behind it. How did you feel? Did you feel a particular way when you're wondering how those people, how they have their own free will?
Yeah. No, I didn't feel a particular way. It was just a curiosity.
Okay, and what was your curiosity again?
Where, I don't know, where, if they're not there, where does the co-creation come together?
Where does the co-creation? That's called, again, the bubble, the arm. Your wall behind you is co-creation. When you move your consciousness and go out the door, that's co-creation. When you're in the car driving somewhere and that entire scenery is changing, that's co-creation. But you cannot look in what the mind is trying to figure out. Feel the same vibration as last night's class with Dominic when he asked that question about, is that wrong? You felt it was complete fucking bullshit because you knew. So what you have to feel in this idea is, why is my mind wanting to know how that works? That's the feeling you need to feel. What emotion is spurring that question? Curiosity? That's an excuse for the unworthy. Because we're curious, we're already investigating. But to be curious in the spawning, in that idea, you got to look at the relationship. I love to be curious about reality. When it shows up, I'm curious. I'll go in and explore it. That's a different relationship to curiosity. Feel the relationship to this curiosity. I don't understand it. How can that be possible? I need that to explain to my mind how it fits. No, because you got to have an emotion behind it. You got to feel the emotion. Says it doesn't matter how it works because I'm in my own bubble. If that knowledge and wisdom is needed, it will be attracted and I will get it in that alignment moment. But right now, everything is fine. I'm good. I don't need to know how other people are feeling or reacting because that's their world.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's their world. You are not responsible for other people's worlds. See, when you are catering to an idea, changing yourself to fit the mirror, changing yourself to doing that, you're not changing yourself to fit the mirror. You're creating an experience for yourself that nobody else feels. People appreciate you for that. You're creating the version of the person that appreciates what you do. It's been you the whole time. That's why we talk about choose your truth. The truth that's in the now. Don't hesitate, don't delay, don't wait for it, but always be observant. And when your truth changes, move to the new truth. Mm-hmm. That will expose the lack in you, the vibrational unworthiness of the self. We're all unworthy. We get to this planet and we're automatically less than. We're cute for a while. And then we become a pain in the ass. Then we become a hassle. Then we become responsibilities. Then we become obligated to suck off some fucking God's dick and say, wow, you're so great. And thank God you gave me your son when you were supposedly the one that created me. So now I got to work my way back into heaven because you're a fucking dick. That's the vibration of this fucking earth. That's polarity, vibrating in the idea, manifesting. So the person that believes in God will create reasons to validate God. They create evil, they will create reasons to validate evil. Because creation listens to you, the only one in your world. So wherever you put your fucking energy, you're going to start creating. But you got to stop thinking about it. I was trying to figure out reality, getting people to like me, doing this, doing that. It didn't work. Because I wasn't vibrating that truth. I was vibrating lack. I started vibrating worthiness. First step was Roxanne, then awakening, then channeling, and then not changing my channeling despite what this fucking spiritual world said. No, that's not right. You got to. And I was scared. It was there. Those versions of people were there. Hey, Roxy, you want to choose your truth? What's your truth in this? No, I can fucking cuss whether I'm a channel or not. That's not supposed to be limited. So fuck you. Here's my truth. So those versions of people dis-a-fucking-peared. I got different versions of people. And then I start losing some of those people and gaining other people. But they weren't people. They were versions of mirror reflections creating the experience of people. You're not a person. Are you fucking kidding me? You're an awareness. You're a single point of consciousness creating its reality, manifesting a body, manifesting a floor, manifesting gravity, manifesting a couch, manifesting the computer you're watching this on, all of that. But you don't know how because this little wonderful mind is going, how do we do this? We got to make things better. Come on. Then you get motivated and you try and you effort. And that was human. But this isn't. This has nothing to do with human. It's everything to do with remembering your creator. So I stopped trying to figure out how to fix the outside to my liking. And I started creating the inside by choosing my truths, speaking my absolute fucking truth, and then having the humility to realize that truth is no longer and let it go. Not apologizing for the ones, not apologizing for my action, Who am I apologizing to? The fucking little guy in my brain going, buck, 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 you did that wrong. Reinforced by the people saying that's wrong. Because that's the vibration I'm saying yes to. Until it shows up, I don't know. If it shows up and I go, holy fucking shit, I can make a choice here. It's not wrong. This is my truth. Fuck and you, goodbye. And you move into the more of your worthiness. So that's very difficult for the mind. But you got to look at this moment right now and see the attraction that you've created. Max has his own world and getting his own interpretation of this. The words, everything is uniquely his. My experience is uniquely mine.
It's like the live, Roxy's live last night. I've seen it this morning, and I watched it this morning, and then I was scrolling some comments, and the comments are, oh, I resonate with this, and I was there, no fucking way. You resonate with this. Who resonate? Yeah, of course you resonate with it. Of course. If you don't, I mean, it's
if
your,
you don't,
right?
She wouldn't have been in the world.
Exactly.
They would have not seen that video.
There wouldn't be the match, because the version of what you've seen is your version. It's what you attracted. It's a version that is.
Well, it's the same thing as the chicken idea. It's the same thing as the chicken. How the fuck do you know what a chicken tastes like to me?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
How do you know what my blue is? We can agree blue. We're saying, yeah, that's blue. Yeah, it's deep blue. Yeah, it's like a midnight blue. Yeah, it's exactly what it is. But I don't know. I have no idea what you can see. That's why you got to really understand well, no, you don't have to. You can understand that it's still a subjective truth that creates the reality, the experience. The commonality of humanity to be liking and build standards is a stability for humanity to rely on things. They rely on commonality, comfort, and numbers, things that stay the same. So until it's figured out that can be solid, it's very difficult for the mind to understand that it's been in charge the whole time and it doesn't know how to do it. And you just got to trust the feeling, and there's no logic and no sense and no effort in it. It just short circuits the fucking ego.
It's mind blowing, because if you want, because then you have changes and you change your relationship, so you have different matches that happen, and so you're exposed to let's say history or things that are presented to you, or people or whatever, and suddenly you say this doesn't match with anything. This is completely different, right? They're telling a story completely different. I never heard this version. I thought that this happened this way, and now they're saying it happened in a completely different way. Well, yeah, because it does change, but it changes why? Because I changed.
Exactly.
It's not right, and we have, and I think this is one. As Roxy was saying, it's very difficult. Why? It's difficult because our attachment is towards the external. So you take the external, and you have had the external all your life. And so you are attached to it, and it's very difficult to detach yourself from that, because then
that's all we fucking
you
knew.
lose your identity, right? It's a loss of identity. It's a loss of stability or what you were projecting as this reality to be. This is my concept of reality. Look at all this out there.
But it's no one's fault. It's your concept. Let's all remember we came here fucking separated. We didn't know dick.
Yes. So that
all we knew is what we saw.
We saw, yeah.
You would have completely different belief systems if you were born in a different idea culture. Completely different. But you're
And so
still the
now
same
we
entity
change.
underneath. What this does,
Yeah.
what awakening does, is give you your worthiness back so you can return to the I am and start choosing what you feel, not what you think. That's why vibrational tactician work starts to discern between the thinking mind and the vibrational worthy self, not the worthy mind, the self that says, this is my truth. Although it may feel like your truth, you observe the idea and you find ego inside of it. And if there's no ego, then that's your truth. You go. You start to do that. You start to investigate. You start to do the work of interpretation, being that idea. Did you ever come upon a time, James, that you said no to something that you didn't want anymore? James, this is a real fucking easy question.
Yes.
Okay. You made a different choice, right? So therefore you didn't create that reality, you created this reality.
Yes.
That's what you got to see. The
Okay.
way you choose creates your world. So you start getting better at choosing yourself in the moment. Do you know how hard it was for me to be transgender? At 43 years old, a non-passable transgender with fucking Greek hair on my chest and a 5 o'clock shadow. You know, how the fuck was I going to be pretty? How the fuck was that going to happen? $25,000, maybe I can kind of look like a girl, kind of. But see, I couldn't work that system on fixing. I just say, I can't do it or I'm going to die. If I don't be what I've felt since I've been a child, I can't do it anymore. I've squashed it too many. I've lost 3 ex-wives because of my truth inside. I'm a fucking heterosexual, but I don't like women. I like men, but the body didn't match. What the fuck was that? See, that was a choice. So instead of staying on an entire world of conformity, where I knew I would have fucking slit my goddamn wrist eventually, would have grown angrier and more hate, I chose an internal truth that created a different potential of life and started creating a different life. And that exposed all of my bullshit that I coveted, all of my fears, everything. I got rejected by people that were my friends. I got rejected by my fucking parents. My ego said, what kind of parents do you have that rejects their child? They were the dope smoking, alcohol drinking motherfucker partying, getting me pregnant, getting pregnant with me while they're fucking puffing away on their goddamn dope and cigarettes and drinking, and I'm supposed to be okay? Oh, I blame them a lot. I fucking tore them up, but I didn't tear them up. See, they can choose their own truth behind my words. What I was doing was creating my rage, my anger. And then I saw that. I was like, wait a minute, why am I trying to get back at them? They didn't fail and I didn't fail. I'm just going to be what the fuck I want to be. So instead of trying to get approval, instead of trying to look like a woman, trying to do these things, I just started with first step, Roxy. I'm going to be a transgender. I'm going to accept that and start to be it. And I started with clear nail polish, a little bit of eyeshadow, neutral color. Started feeling my femininity. Changed my name. Said, I'm going to do it. Told my boss, I said, I'm going to be a woman. I'm going to start wearing fucking pumps to work, pencil skirts, blouses, 3-inch pumps. I'm going to look like a fucking business woman with short hair and a 5 o'clock shadow. Are you okay with that? And my boss said, As long as you keep doing the job you're doing, I don't give a fuck what you do. He kept me on. See, that version of the boss was because I was pumping out my worthiness. The version of my parents is because I was pumping out my worthiness. Every time they would go against me, I stopped being the same version of that. I changed the versions, my parents changed. I changed the verbs, my parents changed. It's my world, James. I had to get used to that. I had to be okay with it. I had to be worthy of the choices I've made. I had to be accepting that my fears were in my mind. The things outside of the now were creating experiences of the now. I was vibrating those truths, validating those truths, experiencing those truths, and continuing those truths until I changed those truths. Some truth I don't pay attention to. I don't need to because they're the natural self of me. One of those truths is I'm fucking awesome. I don't validate I'm awesome. I don't need to tell myself, hey, you're doing a good job. Although sometimes when I find my own evolution, I was going, fuck, that was good, awesome. Good job, Roxy. And then I move on. But it's not a constant reinforcement of self. I'm enough. I got that. So that vibration emanates. So my world is completely different than it was years ago. The same people are out of my lives, the same versions of those other people that were versions, they're not there or they've changed. Because they just don't match. They're still there looking that way in their own world. I'm aware of them. They're called gods. But I don't manipulate them and I don't do anything about them. I don't manage them. That's when my whole life turned around and started being, I am. This is what I am. I'm not embarrassed. I'm not disappointed. I'm not afraid. Scared shitless. But I had the courage enough to go through my fears. But I wasn't afraid to discover. You know? You just be yourself. But you got to be the natural self, not the image of you. I had so many images of what I wanted to look like and when I was supposed to get some big boobs. Big boobs would be great. More men will like you because you got big titties. And I was like, maybe I don't want to go under the knife and this and that. All these things. I worked my way through them. Hormones were attracted. I created the version of the VA that allows, that has a program for transgenders and gives hormones. I created that version in my world. So now I have hormones. I grew my own boobies. Yay, good job. You know, those are all it's my journey. It has nothing to do with anyone else. That's where you got to look at yourself. James, you're creating your work. You're not creating out of intention and emotion. That's the reaction. That's the secondary self. You got to look at the core of yourself and start to feel the truth and change those truths in the moment by the action of choice. And the vibration of reflection still will start to act in kind as it continues. If that makes sense.
Yes.
Are you worthy of being gay, or do you need to demand you're gay?
No, I'm worthy of it.
Okay. Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay. Don't answer me. Answer your fucking self.
Mm.
Because if you're okay being gay, then you're not gay. You're not the image of being gay. Just like I'm okay being transgender, but I'm not a transgender. I don't go around parading I'm transgender. In the moment, you're a little weird looking. Well, I'm transgender. Oh, okay, I get it now. You know?
Yeah.
You don't parade that as an image. You are what you are in the moment. You don't need to demand it. As soon as I stopped demanding people to call me her or ma'am or stuff like that, I was like, you know, and sometimes I was like, well, you can call me ma'am if you like. If you like to call me sir, that's up to you. But I'll remind you to call me ma'am. That's my truth. It wasn't demanding. It was accepting of what they are. Most would apologize and go, shit, I'm sorry. And I was like, don't worry. It's life.
I'm not holding that against you.
No. So you got to be okay with whatever the fuck James is, and whatever parts about James you don't like, you got to stop and engaging in. You got to shift and engage in different parts of you that you love. It's so easy to engage in the reactionary mind because it's emotional, and emotion is the seduction of humanity, but it is also a created system of separation for experience. It's not the validity of you. The validity of you is I am unconditional love. Make sense?
Yeah.
Right.
How you feeling now?
Good.
Yeah, and I mean, these things then grow on you when you discover and you get into that, and I mean, it's been easy to get into, right? The unworthiness and the refusal of self, and oh, where did you go? Oh, we lost him.
We lost James. Why did he leave? Oh no, he.
It's coming back, I guess. He
Yeah.
pressed something again.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, let's wait that he comes back. Yeah, but anyway, you get that, and we it's what we get, right? It's the way we get into it is in here, and then we express ourselves with unworthiness, with lack, with all of that. That's the image. That's the way this reality, at least, right? What we are confronted with. Then, obviously, we never know what it is with anyone else. I've seen a video of, right, it's something, a story of someone that appeared in Japan, and he was arriving from Europe, and he presented his passport, and his passport was for a country in Europe, but that didn't exist. No one knew that country in Europe, and when he pointed it on a map, it corresponded to Andorra, between France and Spain, a very little tiny country. But I don't remember the name of the country that he was giving. And well, anyway, so the story is that he was with this passport, and then no one knew what that was, and so they detained him, and the next day he disappeared. So that's the story. I don't know, is it true? It's probably right. Everything is a reality, but that made me think. Yeah, you see, that's how things are, and there are no rules. So we have experiences. Things happen. There are a lot of stories out there that are incredible. Oh, is it true? Well, yeah, of course it's true. Then it's a question of if you accept it or not, or what is your reality, blah, blah, all right. But it's even not that. Is that from my perspective, I don't know what anyone else's perspective is. I know me, and that's all I can know. Is everyone out there believing that Earth is a sphere or flat or whatever? Is it or not? I don't know. I know
I don't care.
I'm experiencing. Yeah, and I don't have to, right?
Exactly.
Because this is it, right? This is my perspective, and that's what I know. Why will I bother with trying to understand? I know that humans try all the time to ask questions. They need answers. They need to have certainties, to have answers, and to get it all figured out. It's a way of, right, to fool the emptiness that they're feeling, because it's so scary out here. And it is. It is scary until you accept it to be scary. Once you stop perceiving this as scary, well, it isn't scary anymore. That I can assure you, it's not scary anymore when you stop believing that it is scary.
Yes.
Because honestly, there are era in history where it was absolutely scary because it was much more violent. At least the story we hear about that, right? Here and now, it's not scary. You can manage it. You can find a way. You can have not control, but you can make it so that your reality is matching the best version of you, which is always what is happening. But I mean that in a way where you are expressing from your heart center, from you, from what you prefer, and not being the one that is the victim. But that's a choice. Not to be the victim, but to be the one empowered. Powering yourself is a choice and life-changing.
Yeah, but you got to empower yourself off your will and not your hope. Because the mind's going to say, this is empowering you. Take that action, but that actually, the mind empowering is lack. You have to change the vibration. You have to get to know your mind and your will and your worthiness of the lackful self. Transcend that to allow the natural self to emerge.
Right.
Doesn't look like he's coming back in.
Yeah, maybe he has something with his computer or whatever.
Yeah,
Okay.
something. All right, well, good show, everyone.
Yes. Thank you, Roxy, for your wonderful contribution, as always.
You're welcome, and thank you, and thank all our listeners out there. And,
so where can we find you?
You can find me at odysseyofascension.com or Odyssey of Ascension on YouTube. And Max, where can they find you?
On breakfastwithmax.com and YouTube, Breakfast with Max. So we thank you for joining us, and you can send us questions, messages, whatever you want on the Madden God podcast at gmail.com.
All right, everyone. Thanks again for tuning in. See you later.
See you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.